Media Group.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Szabo, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. I'm Lacey G.
I'm Anna.
Amy.
And unfortunately, Nick Adams is not with us today. Where is Nick today, ladies?
Space? Again? Still?
Yeah. I think this is kid-related, though, but...
His kids are also in space?
Yeah, I think it's a family trip to space. I could be wrong.
I think he had said that his kid had a basketball game and it just happened to be up in space.
How
Space Jam.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's not here. Grayson, our friend Grayson, who's come to our parties, we've got to meet him several times. Grayson's actually in New York right now.
Oh, no way.
And sent a picture of escalators and said, I'm scared of escalators, calling back to some previous episodes. So I'm glad that Nick's not stuck on an escalator.
Yes.
Yeah. He's out in space. He will be back with us very, very soon. But in the meantime, we have a lot to get to. We are breaking down Elizabeth Taylor.
Sorry, I hit that note wrong. That was on my. That was
okay.
bad on me.
It's okay.
I went too high.
Do it again.
You didn't have to confess. It was just one of us.
Do it again. A solo.
No,
Anna.
I'm in solo. Elizabeth Taylor. That was worse. That was worse.
That was very good.
That was bad. It was bad. It's okay.
You redeemed yourself.
It's okay. I'm really, really excited for this episode. And I also love to know that Grayson is in New York. I wonder if he's going to like Cornelia Street, like doing all the... You could do an entire Taylor Swift tour of New York City.
Absolutely.
You know?
He's definitely doing all the Taylor things. I did ask him, I know there's a lover bar, but I don't know, like, is it a bar that's just 21 and up? Can people stop in and visit it? Definitely told him check out the cheese shop. He's doing all the Swiftie things.
Okay,
he's
good.
having a great time.
I love to hear
Nick
that.
Adams is too, but he will be having a great time back with us on the podcast here soon. But we are going to be talking about Elizabeth Taylor today, and before we do, I wanted to play a voicemail from a queen. They called our Google phone number, which is 689-214-1313. There's a fun way you can remember it. Reputation 89. Valentine's Day, the movie that Taylor Swift was in, and 1313. But I'd like to play a clip and say hello to my new personal best friend, Ashlyn from Utah.
Hi, 13. This is Ashlyn from Salem, Utah. I'm calling in because I don't actually have any Swiftie friends in real life to talk to, so listening to you guys makes me feel like I'm finally part of the conversation. I like to take you guys on my morning runs, and honestly, it makes the miles go by so much faster. And I don't have any wild theory or hot takes, but I just wanted to say thank you for being my virtual Swiftie besties, and thanks for keeping me company while I run. I love the show, and I love you guys. Bye!
Isn't that so sweet? Yeah.
That's so precious. I love that. That's my biggest goal with this podcast is for our listeners to feel like we're all in the same room together.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes people will be like, oh my God, I'm listening in the car and I just want to interject and I just want to be a part. And I'm like, that's a compliment. That really is a compliment. Even if it's something that we're stumbling and saying wrong, like, oh, what was it? What was that thing called with whatever? And there's somebody listening being like, it's Elizabeth, whatever it be. But that was really, really sweet. And I guess if you're listening to this right now while you're running, you go, girl, run faster.
I know. I loved how she subtly threw in there miles. She's like, as I'm running,
Plural.
miles.
Yeah.
Miles, yeah.
Yeah. You go, Ashlyn, and thank you so much for the phone call. We love you, and thank you for listening. So now, Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth, just can't say it.
And I know that we've all prepped and we have a lot of information on this, but I think this is Anna's episode.
I'm so excited for this because I think Elizabeth Taylor in general, it's like you grow up kind of like knowing who she is, right? Kind of like you know the name. She was a big time like actress in the 40s, 50s, 60s, things like that. Cleopatra, you think Elizabeth Taylor. And I feel like she's been referenced in Taylor Swift songs before and Ready For It, Burton to This Taylor. But it wasn't until the song Elizabeth Taylor that I actually started to learn more about her. And I think I just got so fascinated with how Taylor Swift was able to take a song about another showgirl and have the lyrics so perfectly mirror both of their lives at the same time. Like, I don't know, I just loved it. And even when we listened to the song, not even just the lyrics, but the sound of it, immediately, out the gate, I was like, this is my favorite song. Track 2, I was like, it's gonna be hard to top this when we were doing our live stream listening party.
Yeah, the strings in the beginning are just so fantastic.
Yeah, and I love the head banging kind of aspect to it. I remember somebody had said that Elizabeth Taylor and Canceled are the closest we're going to get to the Rep Vault tracks for right now, you know? Like, those are kind of giving that vibe. Canceled more than Elizabeth Taylor, but I think just the vibe of Elizabeth Taylor. But I'm really excited. When the album first came out, I had come across a video of someone talking about Elizabeth Taylor and her life and her relationship with Richard Burton and things like that, and I just found it to be very fascinating. So I was really excited to just learn more, and I've been excited to get to this episode.
Well, Taylor Swift herself explained on the Jimmy Fallon show exactly why she's obsessed and everybody should be obsessed with Elizabeth Taylor.
I love Elizabeth Taylor. I love her so much. She is like, I think, the ultimate sort of icon role model that I look to when I look at somebody who had like immense pressure on them, was like extremely like scrutinized everything she ever did. She kept making more and more daring art. It's almost like the more polarizing people were about her, the more she just kept like doing even more challenging roles, taking bigger risks. And she's like out here like at the height of whatever, you know, scrutiny she may have been under and the height of her fame, she's like winning Oscars and not letting anything kind of stop her from doing it for the reasons she'd always done it. She was so funny. She used humor as like a device against sort of anybody who had like any of her detractors or whatever. Like, I've done that with songs like Blank Space when people are like, oh, you're a man-eating serial dater.
Yeah.
And I just would be like, oh, let me write a song from that perspective. That's hilarious. So I think you have to be able to combat negativity with humor. That's my favorite thing about her. I just wanted to make a song that felt like as luxurious and glamorous as she was in sort of the verses and the bridge. We had a harp. We pulled out all the stops for her.
Harp. I love getting a harp on a track.
Yeah,
come on.
she just
bring back. She's just glamour and fun, and I just love everything about Elizabeth.
Everybody should be obsessed with Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes.
Agree. And I do love that because, like, not just that Taylor has referenced Elizabeth Taylor before in Ready For It, but even I want to say it was kind of around the Tortured Post Department era. I think one of her friends like posted a video or something that like got her a ring that looked very much like one of Elizabeth Taylor's rings. Like, I think Taylor Swift has just always had a fascination with Elizabeth Taylor. And especially when you do think about it, like how she was saying that Elizabeth Taylor, she was an actress, not a musician, but still she would take these daring roles constantly under a microscope, constantly scrutinized for her work and for her personal life. And it's like, sounds a little familiar,
right?
You know, when it comes to Taylor Swift.
And we've heard Taylor talk about it over and over and over again in her lyrics, many songs, many albums about how she's scrutinized and how the fame's affected her. But this is a way of saying, like, we experience that. It's not just me. Like, I can relate to this, and you can see it better maybe through another person's story, I think.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not the first one that's gone through this, and I'm not going to be the last either. Yeah. It is the life of a showgirl, if you will. I do have, just in case anybody listening is unfamiliar with Elizabeth Taylor, like at all, like if this is the very first time that you even heard that Elizabeth Taylor is a real person, you just kind of vibe to the song. I do have kind of like a summary like about Elizabeth Taylor from her official website, if you would like me to share that.
Yes, please.
It kind of just is a summary of her life. But it says, with striking beauty and undeniable talent, Elizabeth Taylor captivated audiences. As a precocious child actor and unforgettable leading lady, she played legendary female characters who embodied strength, integrity, and unapologetic femininity. Her career, which spans 6 decades, earned her 5 Oscar nominations and 2 Best Actress wins. Along with her singular talent, Elizabeth was a savvy businesswoman. Her instinctive sense of her own worth led her to negotiate the first $1 million contract for an actor for her role in Cleopatra. She was also the first celebrity to launch a hit fragrance brand and become the first female social entrepreneur. From the mid-1980s until her death, Elizabeth's greatest role was that of an activist. In a society paralyzed by fear, she used her fame to shine a light on the injustice and ignorance surrounding the HIV/AIDS epidemic. She co-founded the AMFAR and founded the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, received many awards for her advocacy, and in 2000, Queen Elizabeth II named her Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire. Throughout her life, Elizabeth possessed an abiding will to survive in the face of personal tragedy and an extraordinary capacity for love. She was married 8 times to 7 men, and her greatest joy in life was her family of 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. In 2011, Elizabeth died in Los Angeles at the age of 79. So that's kind of just like an encapsulated summary of her life. She was doing groundbreaking things as an actress. She is considered to be the last actress of like the classic Hollywood era. But during that classic Hollywood era time, like she was taking these like intense roles of like Cleopatra, perfect example.
Yeah.
Well, at first, from the research that I had, Hollywood at this time with the movies, like you sign with a movie company, with MGM, and then MGM is able to control you. I mean, think of all the stuff we heard about Judy Garland, the Wizard of Oz, and how she was treated and how they held her to, you've got to knock out all these movies. So that was the deal with Elizabeth Taylor. She was signed to a movie company, had to do the movies that they told her to do. And that's whenever she got herself out, renegotiated a contract, and got $1 million in the meantime. So I saw on the official Elizabeth Taylor Instagram account on May 30th, they posted a video of Elizabeth signing a new contract and the photos of Taylor owning all of her own work. And the video said, just 2 women who took back their control from greedy companies. Yeah. And they captioned it, from one Taylor to another, we see you, queen.
That's awesome.
Incredible. Yeah, and I think I had read somewhere that kind of like much similar to how Taylor had like a 6-album deal, Elizabeth Taylor also had a 6-movie deal with MGM. And I think that one of her husbands that she was with at one point was able to start the negotiations for her to not have to complete like the 6th movie. She'd be able to be on her own. But then that man died and the negotiations fell through. And then it was something that I guess she was able to negotiate and still figure it out. But yeah, it did remind me of kind of the similar deal that Taylor had, but in the world of music.
Right.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. March includes International Women's Day, so let's take a moment to celebrate women's strength and progress while also recognizing how much women just carry every day. Between caring for others and managing unseen responsibilities, the emotional well-being can easily be overlooked. As women, we're just expected to smile and be okay all the time. And a lot of times, therapy can offer a space for women to be able to take care of themselves in the way that they deserve. Taylor Swift, for example, the main woman in the lives of this podcast, through listening to her music, she has expressed so many different types of emotions. And a lot of times we as listeners say that she's our therapist because we feel those emotions as she sings them and they resonate with us. But therapy can help create balance and set healthy boundaries and support overall well-being for everyone. And get the feelings that you hear in a Taylor Swift song off of your chest by talking to a therapist. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. And BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. You just answer a short questionnaire that helps identify your needs and preferences. And then BetterHelp's 12 years of experience and industry-leading matchmaking fulfillment rate means that they typically get it right the first time. But if you're not happy with your match, you can switch at any point. I've had to do that. It feels kind of awkward at first, but trust me, it's better to be matched with someone that is there for you than to stay with someone just because you don't want to be rude. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Taylor Swift fan. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Taylor Swift fan.
And both being so scrutinized, Elizabeth Taylor, when she had all of her marriages and relationships, and one of them was taking a man from her best friend and marrying him like day of the divorce and all this kind of stuff. Well, that was at the beginning of like tabloid fodder, whenever celebrities are now being hunted and shown their whole lives just told out and moved in magazines and made fun of. And so Elizabeth Taylor had to deal with that. I mean, there was one point where she was off filming Cleopatra and had an affair with married man, Richard Burton, who she ended up marrying. And the U.S. didn't want to let her back. Like the Vatican was saying, you can't let these people back into the U.S. I mean, getting that involved in someone's love life and scrutinizing them to that extent.
Yeah, it was crazy when I was reading about just her and Richard Burton in general. Like they were, it says, her passionate affair with her fifth husband, Richard Burton, was one that set the world on fire with its spark. It was like everybody was talking about them. Everybody was obsessed with them. And yeah, the back and forth, they got married twice because they couldn't bear to be apart from each other. So they got divorced, they get back together. It's just kind of this like absolutely crazy just love story, but in the public eye. And then once again, I was like, sounds familiar. Everybody being obsessed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I read on Elizabeth Taylor's website, this is what they had to say about Richard Burton, because at first I was like, we don't need to just discuss every one of her marriages. And we don't. I don't think that we're going to necessarily, but I don't feel bad talking about it whenever I'm grabbing it from her website. Because, I mean, she is acknowledging that her love life was at the forefront. But
I do get what you're saying. But I also do think that her relationship with Richard Burton is an important one to touch on.
For sure. But on the website, it said, Richard Burton, the love of her life and the man she married twice. Their relationship was fiery, passionate, and studded with diamonds. They made global headlines, starred in 11 films together, and becoming one of the most famous couples in the world. After a decade of tumultuous love, they divorced, remarried, and divorced again. If there's one thing that proved, it's that some love stories are too big for one marriage. Who can relate by proxy by their parents by that statement? Because oddly enough, the three of us in here, our parents divorced and remarried each other.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Your parents divorced and remarried?
Yeah.
Each other?
My first dad.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Full-on weddings, too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, different wedding dress and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Full-on, not even just we changed our mind, we're going to the courthouse. My mom said, nope, I need another dress for that one.
Hey,
So-
I respect it. Because, my parents divorced and got back together. But when they got back together, it was just like a, courthouse thing. My mom was like, good thing I never went back to my maiden name, But yeah, wow, what are the odds?
Yeah. So y'all's did it twice. Mine did it 3 times.
That's wow.
The third time was the courthouse. There were 2 actual weddings, and the third time was at the courthouse.
How much time happened in between?
I mean, they were together for 20. It's a 20-year span.
Okay.
And divorced 3 times.
But back together to each other.
3 times.
Okay, very Elizabeth
3 and
Taylor,
3.
Richard Burton.
Yeah. Hilarious. I did not know that, Lacey. What a fun fact. I mean, sad, but still.
A fun fact for us, statistically.
And fun fact for Nick Adams, he has his original parents. They never divorced.
That's why he wasn't invited to this recording.
Yeah. Right, he can't relate. I also just found this. I think this might be from her website where it says, it's human to want to be chosen. Elizabeth never hid her desire for heated, intense relationships, and even in platonic situations, she loved fiercely. I just really liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says, when February rolls around and Valentine's Day seems to be staring us in the face, we think of pure abandonment and faith in her decisions. She was reckless with her affection and didn't apologize for her love life. The courage is something we urge everyone to tap into around this time, around Valentine's Day.
And Elizabeth Taylor's 70-year-old son, Chris Wilding, who was from her second husband, told TMZ in August he loved the idea of the new song, saying that Taylor Swift is a, quote, rare positive role model for young girls.
Aww.
And he added that it would be great if the song introduced younger fans to his mom's movies.
Which it definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely did.
Also, I saw that Elizabeth Taylor won the Academy Award for Best Actress in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember if Who's Afraid of Little Me, if there were ties to Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, or if that's just what we thought before the song came out.
I do remember us discussing it probably when we broke down the song of just, the title reference alone. I haven't seen I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, and I don't remember the details of when we did break down the song, when we brought it up.
At this point, it would have been over a year ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because that was just the last album.
But I just thought that was a fun little loose connection.
For sure.
If that is there, or even if it was just speculation from the title before the song came out.
Yeah. But it definitely does show just the ties back to just Taylor Swift's fascination with Elizabeth Taylor. You know, even if it wasn't a direct reference, it was an influence.
Yeah. Speaking of other ties too, Elizabeth Taylor's birthday, I had guessed maybe bingo board, we would be getting a music video or something, but we didn't. Her birthday was a couple of days ago, but the Man music video came out on Elizabeth's birthday.
Oh, really?
On Elizabeth Taylor's birthday, like what, 7-8 years ago, whatever. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think that, you know how we just always know Taylor Swift's birthday? Like, you can have like your favorite celebrities and their birthday, whatever, but we know Taylor Swift's birthday. Like, it's like a staple. We celebrate it every year. Do you think she is that way about Elizabeth Taylor's birthday? Like, do you think, I mean, I don't think there's any coincidence when it comes to Taylor Swift and things like that, and it's really cool that that video was dropped on Elizabeth Taylor's birthday, but do you think that Taylor Swift was like, okay, how cheeky, like, it's Elizabeth Taylor's birthday?
I mean, maybe, if not Elizabeth Taylor, then there is some celebrity that she celebrates that way.
Travis
Whether it's
Kelce?
James Taylor. Yeah. Someone.
Yeah.
But imagine you're Taylor Swift with that Taylor Swift brain. How many celebrity birthdays would you be celebrating? Because, I mean, we have William Shakespeare. We have Clara Bow. We have Stevie Nicks. So, I mean, her knowledge is so vast.
Yeah.
Every day. And, I mean, she keeps up with all this Dayton history herself. Look at me 6 years ago. I'm kidding. That's what everybody else does. But whenever she does all the math and all the everything, I don't know. I think it's intentional. Also, I saw some people posting the clip of Taylor Swift going on, I think Jimmy Fallon, saying, how far can I Easter egg something 3 years in advance? Is that far enough? Well, then Anti-Hero music video, whenever she's cutting into the eggs that look like eyes, there's violet glitter coming out. So was that a nod to that? We now think the purple glitter maybe represents something else. It's the fame that other people didn't want to be a part of or have on them or something, but still interesting to see.
Yeah.
That girl been working. Imagine that.
How does she keep it all? How does she keep it all straight, you know?
Can't.
That's crazy.
I do want to read this line that I got from Elizabeth Taylor's obituary. A former film critic wrote, she usually played a woman of common sense and uncommon passion. In each role, she found a starting point for a creative journey at the crossroads of modern femininity, proto-feminism, and ageless star quality.
That's good.
I just thought that was great.
Yeah, that is really good. I do want to circle back to Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, because I think one of my favorite parts about this song, and we'll get into it when we break down the lyrics, is when she says, if your letters ever said goodbye. Because something that I had learned about Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton is that they would obsess over each other via love letter. They would write love letters to each other, back and forth and back and forth. And when he passed, she decided to share them publicly, I think in a book, to honor his memory and for people to know just like about him and things like that. And I thought that was really cool, except for the last letter that she got for him. That one's not, she didn't make public, but she received a letter from him after he had passed. And so could you imagine putting yourself in that like the love of your life writes you a letter, passes away, and then you receive that letter. You know what I mean? And so the lyric, if your letters ever said goodbye, like, could you imagine the possibility of opening that letter and it says like, I don't love you anymore, or something like that's absolutely insane to think about. And so when she released the book of love letters from Richard Burton, Time Magazine did an entire article exposition on it. And so I have a bit of things from that.
Yeah.
If I may.
Yeah. Okay,
so this is from the Time Magazine article about Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, Hollywood's original it couple, had a romance more tumultuous than that of any big screen drama. They married each other twice and divorced each other twice, perhaps owing to her epic tantrums and his problems with alcoholism. But as newly released love letters from Burton to Taylor attest, despite 20 years of hair pulling and name calling, he loved her until the very end of his life. The couple who met in Rome while filming the 1962 film Cleopatra were both married when they launched into a torrid affair. The paparazzi pounced almost immediately, and the Vatican, this is what you were saying earlier, the Vatican released a statement condemning their adultery. But even disapproval from the Pope couldn't stand in the way of their love, and Burton's letters frequently drip with passion. And here's a quote. "If you leave me, I shall have to kill myself. There is no life without you," is something that he wrote in one of the letters. But the love went both ways, and in sharing the love letter she wrote to Burton after the couple remarried in 1975, Elizabeth Taylor reveals just how sure and wrong she was that they belonged together. And then here's a quote from one of her letters. "Dearest Hubs, how about that? You really are my husband again, and I have news for thee. There bloody will be no more marriages or divorces either. Yours truly, wife." So they were just having this like passionate name-calling, love-bombing, torrid affair, if you will. But I just thought...
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's so neat.
It's a lot... Not that listening to any of Taylor Swift's songs isn't a fun thing, but I think when you really know more of the context behind the lyrics and behind the songs, it does make it more fun to listen to. And so I think part of the reason I became so obsessed with this song at the very beginning of the Showgirl era was because I just happened to come across a video of somebody talking about Elizabeth Taylor's life, and it just made me love the song that much more. I know that when we did our initial rankings, I said it was like a toss-up between Elizabeth Taylor and Father Figure. I'm going to go ahead and say that Elizabeth Taylor is number one. And then when we get to Father Figure later,
you'll say that's number one.
But today, Elizabeth Taylor.
Valid.
I do have one more golden string about Taylor Swift and Richard Burton. He was in Hamlet.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. He was in Hamlet, which, of course, is referenced in the opening track, The Fate of Ophelia.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
All right. Let's get into the lyrics, shall we?
We shall.
All right. Let's get into the lyrics, shall we?
We shall.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth Taylor.
And I'm going to stop there. This is where we already have to go into some stuff. So I just thought this was hilarious. I saw a meme that said, "Random things I shout around the house after a Taylor Swift album release." And for TTPD, it was Florida.
Yeah.
And now it's Elizabeth Taylor. The life of a showgirl.
I definitely do catch myself, like, even just at work when I'm going to go back and get a coffee, I'm like, Elizabeth Taylor.
It's hilarious. It has brought me so much joy just because in the lyrics, if I feel like she's in the middle of a sentence, she like doesn't even finish her thought. She just throws in Elizabeth Taylor and then finishes her thought. So it just, oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Which
I love doing it.
And you're so right, because it just, even though the song is called Elizabeth Taylor, like she doesn't have to say Elizabeth Taylor, especially.
But it does add to it.
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just fun.
Elizabeth Taylor. Oh my God, so great. I'm obsessed.
Do you think it's forever?
And I love how in the song, you like this is the part, Elizabeth Taylor, do you think it's forever? That kind of repeats throughout the song. But I love that at the beginning we hear it, and then it kind of goes into the start of the song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what I'm talking about. But
So Elizabeth Taylor, I don't think we talked about this. Stop me. Stop me if we have. But she in the 90s.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah, we actually did.
No, go ahead, Amy.
Okay, so in the 90s.
We both had the same thought.
In the 90s, she started a perfume, White Diamonds. Mm-hmm. And I remember growing up with this commercial. I heard it all the time, diamonds are forever. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people know now that it came from the 90s. Like, diamonds are forever was the thing that's a phrase Elizabeth Taylor did. It was her phrase. I mean, it might have existed before, but that's how I know it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why it's a thing. It's Elizabeth Taylor, not because it's diamonds are rock that last forever.
Yeah.
And I saw, I remember White Diamonds, of course, from Elizabeth Taylor, but she also has a perfume called Violet Eyes.
Yes.
And she has another one called Forever Elizabeth and Love and White Diamonds. Elizabeth Taylor, do you think it's forever? All my white diamonds and lovers are forever. So, I mean, there's a connection there to her perfume brands.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Crazy.
And it's actually really cool because nowadays, it's not that it's like normal, but it's not surprising when a celebrity launches a fragrance line.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of musicians, it's just, you know, it's a side hustle. Why not? But I guess at the time, in the time period for Elizabeth Taylor to do it, it's like, whoa, girl, that's crazy. What are you doing? You know, and now it's from, and it's funny too, because when it comes to Taylor Swift, you know, we always talk about how she is a billionaire because of her music and her music alone. She doesn't have a clothing line. I mean, like merch, sure, but that's like the record label. She doesn't have a clothing line. She doesn't have a fragrance line. She doesn't have a makeup line. And that's not to say that she can't do it if she doesn't want to, but a lot of celebrities now, a lot of musicians especially, just build more equity, I guess, if you will, through having these other like avenues of making money. And Taylor Swift's part of the reason that it's just so impressive on where like the levels of, I guess, of just the levels that she has reached has been solely because of her art and her art 100%. And like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And that's crazy to think about because we see Taylor Swift styled and people buy, there's a knockoff of her engagement dress at Walmart or Target. She wears something, it sells out immediately.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, she could have a clothing line easily, but then she still wears other people, wears small businesses, and gets them highlighted.
And we've even said, like, I think it would be really cool if she did just like a collab with a red lipstick with Rare Beauty with Selena Gomez. You know, it's like, that's so easy. It's right there, but they don't do it. They haven't done it yet. Not that they never will. I think that'd be really cool. I think it'd be really cool for Taylor Swift to have her own red lipstick line and her own line of like wine glasses or wine. If she invests in like a winery or something, you know, and it's Taylor Swift's wine, I think that'd be perfect. Taylor, just in case you're looking for more money-making opportunities, we got you.
And back to White Diamonds real quick. I did see a comment on Reddit. Someone said, I'm old enough to know that White Diamonds was the name of a perfume that Elizabeth Taylor came out with in the early 90s. Just Googled it and was surprised to see that it's still available for purchase. I just thought I'd throw this tidbit out there in case the younger Swifties weren't familiar.
Wait, that's awesome. We should get our hands on one.
All right, so the next line, that view of Portofino was on my mind when you called me at the Plaza Athénée.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so something cool if you haven't already, which we're going to do this throughout our podcast, but on Elizabeth Taylor's website, they have a whole section about this song, and they break down like the lyrics of Taylor Swift's song and how it relates back to like everything. Did you see that?
No, and I tried to find it.
Okay.
That's how I ended up on the website anyway, but I couldn't find it.
I'll send you the link. They have a specific part where, much kind of like when I do my notes for our podcast episodes, I have the lyrics, and then between each lyrics, I have like little blurbs. It's kind of in that same format.
Yeah.
So here's what they said about this line specifically.
Hang on. I feel like she did easier research than at least me. I don't know what kind of research you, but I looked for that specifically. Hey. I had to go other sources, not straight up a source. But go ahead, Anna.
But I'm kind of shocked that if you type in Taylor Swift, Elizabeth, how was it not the first thing that came up?
It did not on my search, I think. But go ahead. Show me what all I missed. I love it.
Okay, so this is from Elizabeth Taylor's website. For the lyric, that view of Portofino was on my mind when you called me at the Plaza Athénée. It says, this lyric references not one, but two luxurious locales visited by Elizabeth during her life. Elizabeth frequently vacationed at the beaches of Portofino, Italy, with her husband, Richard Burton. In fact, it was there in 1964 that Richard proposed to Elizabeth on the wisteria-covered balcony of the Hotel Splendido's Suite 471. In 1971, Elizabeth and Richard resided at the Hotel Plaza Athénée in Paris for 6 months, at a time when the hotel was a center for social and cultural life and a magnet for Hollywood stars. So they loved going there already. He proposed to her there, and there was a period where they just spent 6 months living there.
Yeah.
I also read that Lena Dunham's wedding was in Portofino, and at the time, they didn't want to release that Taylor Swift was going to be a part of the bridesmaid because they wanted it to be really intimate. And so she secretly had to get there. And so she's at this big glamorous place. Portofino is pricey. Not just everybody can go there. And looking around at all this luxury and then realize it looks so glamorous to be me. It looks so glamorous to be me. But instead, I'm here alone, having to hide because I'm too famous. And at this time, she was single and thinking, who would I like to be able to share this with? And then next time she's going through, Plaza Athénée is Paris. right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then thinking about that while she's in Paris doing the Eras tour, coming back with the Tortured Poets department, and now she's with Travis.
Yeah, and it's most likely where she was staying because it's luxury. It's nice.
Like it says, a magnet for Hollywood stars.
Yeah.
But then she goes to say, oftentimes it doesn't feel glamorous to be me.
So she's saying that you were on my mind when I was in Portofino, and she's thinking about the engagement. So I'm thinking she's saying, I was thinking that me and Travis could be in game here. Like, I'm thinking about Elizabeth Taylor's engagement because I think that's where we're going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because this was written before, before they got engaged. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good connection.
Because if you remember, Taylor Swift went on the New Heights podcast to announce the life of a showgirl. And it was right after that recording that Travis took her outside in the backyard and proposed to her.
Yeah, so this entire album was written before they were engaged, but it's clear that she was very confident in that this is going to be the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. You know? You don't ride wood about just about anyone. You just don't. So oftentimes it doesn't feel so glamorous to be me. And I loved exactly everything that you said, Lacey, because it's so true. And we hear about this in Taylor's music all the time, right? Like, think of, the prophecy and like everything where it's just like, you have it all, but you don't at the same time. And there's a lyric like that in this song too. So this lyric was first revealed at the Spotify pop-up. Remember how there was a Spotify pop-up that had all of the Easter eggs, if you will, references to the album, but it was before the album came out, and we didn't know what was a reference and what wasn't. And so this lyric was written in lipstick on a vanity mirror inside of the Showgirl-themed dressing room. So the staging echoed Elizabeth Taylor's 1960 film Butterfield 8, where her character writes "No Sale" in lipstick across the mirror at the very beginning of the film.
Okay.
So it's a lyric from the song Elizabeth Taylor, written in the style of a character from an Elizabeth Taylor movie.
That's great.
Isn't that so cool? I would love to be in the meeting where everybody's trying to decide what we're going to put in the Spotify house.
Yeah.
It's like Taylor Swift is like, okay, we need to have all of these references. We need to have all of these little hints and things, but how are we going to do it?
Yeah.
And let's not discredit the other mega mind in this coupletum in the Taylor Swift land. Mama, Andrea had all the great ideas for the Eras. Well,
yes.
I mean, not all the, but she had a lot of input on the Eras tour.
You're so right.
Yeah. So, I mean, Mama Swift, what is she saying needs to go in the Spotify house?
I know.
Don't discredit her.
When she's like, oh, you should say it was the end of an era, right? That was her mom that said that, and Taylor's like, great idea.
Sometimes she got a little confused, though. Come on. Andrea was like, this song's about Travis.
No. Forever iconic, Taylor being like, who do you think this song is about? Your boyfriend, Travis.
So funny.
Which, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, there are some people who say, like, don't tie Taylor Swift's music to men. Don't diminish her music just by these men. They're simply the vessels that got her going. But Andrea Swift just proves that everybody can interpret it however you want, because she knew that was a breakup
and
song.
And that's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we've always said about Taylor's music. It's like the best part of it is that she writes it in a way where you can relate to it, even if it's not the exact same motivation that she had. And that's proven. Excellent point.
Oh, and hold on. We're talking about Taylor's mega brain, Andrea's mega brain.
Not the mega brain.
The mega-ist brain. We've talked about Taylor's insane brain before. This is not the first time. Heard her middle of the night voice memos, wondered like, how does she work out these ideas? Well, she talks about the moment that she thought up this Elizabeth Taylor song.
I think one of the most random places I came up with an idea for a song for this album was the song Elizabeth Taylor, because I had just been sent, my parents sent me this clip of Elizabeth Taylor's son saying something very flattering that basically, if there was one person he would say he might compare to his mother in modern day in terms of just, I guess, the persona and the whole, chaos going on around us, he said he would say me. I was so flattered by that when I read it. I just immediately started talking to Travis about it. I was just going on and on about Elizabeth Taylor, like talking about all the things about her that I love, all the things that made her so glamorous and funny and witty and interesting, and how she kept challenging herself, like late into her life, like kept taking on roles that were different and brave and raw. And I had to get out of the car. I was like, 1 second, we're parked. I was like, I have to get out of the car for a second, and just sang this melody into my phone, got back in the car, and just, that's what that's like when that happens.
I love that so much. I'm so jealous of Travis Kelce. I wish I could be there in a moment where Taylor is struck with an idea. Because we saw it happen on Graham Norton, when she is struck with the entire, she was sitting there mid-conversation and suddenly she has an idea for an entire music video. How cool to be around her when genius strikes. That's really cool.
Yeah. Next line. All the right guys promised they'd stay. Under bright lights, they withered away. But you bloom. Portofino was on my mind, and I think you know why.
So I do like that because kind of like we've said, I think both Elizabeth Taylor and Taylor Swift have famously been with men who promise them forever and then crack under the pressure of the actual person that you're going to spend your life with. You know what I mean? We've seen it more recently with Taylor Swift, but as we learn about Elizabeth Taylor, we know that she kind of probably went through the same thing. I mean, of her 8 husbands, how many of them really did promise her, like, yes, this is going to be it? And
I would think that every time you enter a marriage, you think it's going to be forever. So.
I think all of our parents did each and every time they married each other. Yeah. I think they really thought it was forever.
Yeah.
But specifically the under bright lights part, I think, is to emphasize.
Yeah, and so it reminds me of, and how did it end, when she's talking about the hot house. How versus the woodsman, doing well. The paparazzi lights versus a grow light and doing well under that spotlight.
Yeah.
Anna, do you want to sing the next line?
If your letters ever said goodbye.
Thank you.
Cried my. Oh, sorry. Are we stopping there? Yes, this is one of my favorite parts in the song. Kind of like how we talked about earlier, that Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton famously wrote each other love letters of just deep, deep, deep passion. And so Richard Burton died of a brain hemorrhage in Switzerland in 1984. Days before his death, he had penned Elizabeth Taylor a final letter, and it arrived at her home in the Bel Air section of Los Angeles shortly after she returned from his memorial service. And that's just crazy to think about. That's absolutely crazy. So while she shared most of their letters publicly in order to keep his memory alive, his final letter to her is one that she kept private. So even just the thought of if that final letter said goodbye. And I could imagine Taylor Swift also, like, thinking of, like, oh my God, could you imagine the devastation and the heartbreak on if that letter ever said goodbye?
Yeah.
My favorite thing that my boyfriend gets me is cards. He gets wonderful, sweet cards. They always just, like, pick the right words, the right moment. He writes really sweet things in there. And he told me one day, he said, I'm just afraid I'm going to get you the same card because I forget what all cards I've gotten. And I was like, I don't care. That's fine. It finally happened.
Really?
It happened on Valentine's Day, I think. And it was a super sweet card. And there was like a change or two in there because it went from an everyday card to now it's Valentine's Day, but I still love you every day. And I had to tell him because I still love it, but I had to let him know. Your worst fear did come true. I got a duplicate. But it's still really sweet.
I was curious on if you were going to tell him or if you were just going to keep it to yourself.
I thought about it, but then I still tell him everything.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, because I obsess over these cards.
Yeah.
I like to go back and reread them. So yes, I know what all the cards say, and he doesn't.
That's
he gets
really
a really sweet card in the moment. Yeah, but it was still sweet. It was sweet both times.
Yeah, of course.
Really appreciative.
That's really precious. That's really cute between you guys.
But it makes me wonder if I need to write a goodbye letter for one day, but then I'm so scared about bad juju that I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to write my goodbye letter.
Yeah.
No.
And then it seems like I'm like ready. I'm not ready.
Yeah.
No,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. I'd cry my eyes violet.
Elizabeth Taylor.
I was waiting.
So Elizabeth Taylor seemingly had violet eyes. It was more the makeup, the photography. Like she could manipulate to look the eye color, but I don't think she honestly, like people don't have purple eyes, but that was what she was known for.
Right.
Was from her purple eyes. But then if you think about it from Taylor Swift's perspective, if she was to cry her eyes violet, Taylor Swift's eyes are blue. Crying, kind of bruised eyes, maybe busted blood. Like I would cry.
Redness.
Yeah. I would, the
like
mix
just
of color. Yeah.
Cry so hard that my eyes are violet. For sure. Absolutely. And yeah, that is such a great tie-in because Elizabeth Taylor, famously known for her what appeared to be violet eyes, like you said. And for her to say, like, if your letters ever said goodbye, I'd cry my eyes violet. Like, if this is going to end between us again, to go back to her and Travis, like, if this doesn't work out, like, I would cry so hard that my eyes are seemingly violet. That's, like, such a poetic and beautiful way to just tie everything together.
Yeah.
Once again, Taylor Swift, genius.
Tell me for real, do you think it's forever?
I also feel like that's kind of one of those parts where, and Taylor had said this, especially with the Fate of Ophelia, where she kind of mixes in language of different time periods. You know, with the Fate of Ophelia, it's more so Shakespearean, obviously, with present times. Elizabeth Taylor, I think, you know, the glamorous, the diamonds, very much like the 1900s, 1980s, like, esque vibe. And then Tell Me For Real. Like, that's more modern.
Yeah.
Right? Like, tell me, like, okay, like Elizabeth Taylor, Portofino, Plaza Athénée. Okay, but tell me for real. Like, do you think this is forever?
Yeah, you're the expert. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
And what is forever? Is she talking about my relationship, my career? Is this going to continue? Is this forever? Is that what she's contemplating?
I think so. Maybe all of the above.
I saw this line as being, a lot of people didn't get it, at least on what I was seeing on Reddit. There were constantly people asking.
Yeah, I did not get it until someone explained it to me.
Really?
No, I don't have a brain like that.
This next line that you're talking about?
Yes, the next one.
And hold on, Amy doesn't have a brain like that, yet she watched the Opalite music video one time
and got it right out the gate.
But you didn't understand.
I'm a more visual person.
Okay.
I think.
Yes, you are a visual design now.
Yeah.
And the line we are talking about is, been number one, but I've never had two. Been number one, but I've never had two. And what does that mean?
I don't know what other people were saying. In my head, I interpret it as been number one, like been at the top of the charts.
Yes.
Been, like, Taylor Swift has constantly been number one, record breaker, record setter. Same with Elizabeth Taylor, been number one, top of her game, highly regarded actress, you know, Academy Award winner.
I got that part.
But I never had two, meaning I never had someone to share it with.
Yes, that is what I struggled with. Why? I don't know.
I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, but
You're not alone.
Yeah, but it makes total sense, and I love that it's so simple. I couldn't get it.
I guess when you heard it, were you just focusing too much on just the numbers?
Yes, I was.
Oh, and probably trying to do Swiftie math because she makes us do math.
I mean, she did science like 2-3 phrases ago. You know, her blue versus the crying red eyes made purple. I mean, we went from science to math, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what else are we going to learn?
And the whole thing is also history because it's Elizabeth Taylor, and it's English, like literature lesson writing.
I know.
What are we missing?
I thought it was supposed to be mathing.
Well, this line just immediately brought me back to the Miss Americana documentary, where I can't remember the specific moment, but I want to say it was after she won Album of the Year for 1989.
Yeah.
And she said, I didn't have a partner that I climbed it with that could high five me. I didn't know anyone I could talk to who could relate what I was going through. Shouldn't I have someone I could call right now?
Yeah.
So this is her being super successful, and then, like, I don't have anybody to share this news with. I don't have anybody really to call after. Now, A lot of people say this is the contrast between her career success and romantic relationships. She's always been number one in her career, but never had a partner who was equally comfortable with her success, nor has she ever been a part of an equal pair in love.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. She always had to choose between her career and a partner, or have her partners resented being number two to her fame.
Okay, yeah.
I also saw someone saying, now she's saying the number one singles, whatever, but then also another way to spell one, W-O-N.
Oh.
And she's always had one but never had two, because some people think she's always both one and the number one, because she's not scared of getting a second chance, because she's still out there doing it and pushing. And I thought that was interesting. A couple silly ones from Reddit. Hum on Reddit said they think that this might be a reference to Travis Kelce / a dig at former lovers, because she's saying multiple rounds or good time or something. Also, my crying clown on Reddit said, I think it's as 2 drinks, meaning she had no time to relax. I just thought that was silly.
I think it could also even, and I guess I didn't really even think about this until you had mentioned all of those different possibilities. But I think also as women, especially women with careers, are always, you can't have both. Mm-hmm. You can't have both a career and a family, right? And it's like, I'm sure that Elizabeth Taylor heard that a lot, especially during that time period during her career. Like, okay, you're number one at the box office, you have this great acting career, and then, but all these men, it's like you're at some point, you're going to have to walk away, you're going to have to start your family. And that's something that Taylor Swift's been getting now also. She gets engaged to Travis and everyone's like, well, she's going to retire now because she's going to get married and have kids and stuff. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what they choose to do. But Taylor herself said, no, that's insulting to me. Like, I can do both.
Yeah.
My career's not going to just stop, you know? But I feel like that could also be a possibility, like, been number one, but I never had two, because you, like, women are more often than not told that they have to pick between the two.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. I didn't think of that. And all the silly comments that I saw on Reddit did not mention that. That was good. I'm glad we did different research today, Anna.
Yeah, me too.
And then she ends this one with, and I can't have fun if I can't have be my NY when Hollywood hates me. Mm-hmm. What is that about, Anna?
Okay, so this actually was also a part on the Elizabeth Taylor website lyric breakdown, if I may. It says, Elizabeth had a complicated relationship with Hollywood, starting out as a product of its studio system before becoming a force that reshaped celebrity culture. In 1961, after more than a decade as one of MGM's biggest stars, Elizabeth controversially left the studio that she had been associated with since childhood, frustrated by their control. Her departure marked a turning point in Hollywood's transition away from the old studio contract era, allowed her to pursue more lucrative projects like her then record $1 million salary for Cleopatra in 1963. That's what you had touched on earlier, Lacey. She also lived in New York in the late 1950s, residing on Park Avenue with her then husband, Mike Todd. Mike, a legendary producer, had negotiated the MGM to drop the last picture from Elizabeth's existing contract, but those plans fell apart when he tragically died in 1958. This left Elizabeth on the hook for one more movie, an obligation that she fulfilled with the movie Butterfield 8. So that's what we were kind of talking about earlier. Like, she wanted to get out of that contract, almost did, but then had to basically fulfill that. And that also kind of reminds me of back to Taylor Swift's contract record deal that she had. Originally, it was the whole, like, 6 albums, you know, and then when she wanted to buy back her masters the first time, and when she ultimately didn't, the deal that they had offered her was 1 for 1. For every new album that you deliver to us, we'll give you back one of the ones that you have. So essentially asking her to produce 6 more to get back her 6 first ones. And that's when she said, no, I'm not going to do that.
She bet on herself.
Yeah, she said, yeah, but I got me, is basically what she said. But yeah, be my NY when Hollywood hates me. I think that also just showcases, you know, the scrutiny of Hollywood, being under the microscope, all of this, and escaping to New York instead. Because I know that this was also a lyric that a lot of people struggled with, much like the been number one but never had to. They're like, what does that mean? Like, be my NY.
Instead of saying New York, you know.
Yeah.
And it's Taylor's safe place. I mean, she's always traveling there to record and having girls' night. And
Because celebrities in New York are treated differently. In New York, you can be a celebrity. You can be out and about. People aren't going to hound you. That doesn't mean you're still not going to get recognized, but it's New York. There's a bunch of celebrities. But then you see a celebrity out in the wild anywhere else, they're going to get hounded. You see them in LA, there's paparazzi following them around and zero privacy. I mean, New York, 1989 era.
Yeah, for sure.
You're only as hot as your last hit, baby. Note, she said last hit, not current hit. Because you're always getting compared to stuff that you've done in the past. This is not as good as that. Halsey came out recently and said they wouldn't support her tour. Her recording label said, well, this isn't the same as what you've done in the past, and the numbers aren't the same. And she's like, it's not the same album. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So how frustrating that is.
I also like the language in that. You're only as hot as your last hit, baby. That to me just is very 1950s Hollywood talk. You know, like, oh, you're only as hot as your last hit, baby. You know, like, it's just like, like very like, ooh, go get her, like Hollywood, stardom, glamour, glitz, fashion, last hit, baby. Like, I feel like in current days, I don't think people would say like,
you don't talk to women like that.
Yeah, you don't talk to women like that.
You shouldn't anyway.
You shouldn't. If you are, let us know.
Yeah.
So that, just kidding. Yeah, but I feel like now record execs wouldn't say you're only as hot as your last hit, baby, with that verbiage, but they would still say it like in general, kind of like with like the Halsey thing. It's like, okay, but it's not performing as well as your other album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I thought this was cool. I'm really glad we did different research because
Me
you don't
too.
know this. You don't know this.
Me too.
Because you would have already said it.
Please tell me.
On December 3rd, 2018, Texas Monthly published an article by Liz Rose that was titled, Liz Rose, You're Only as Good as Your Last Hit Song.
Oh.
Who is Liz Rose?
Wrote All Too Well with her?
Liz Rose and Taylor Swift have collaborated on a lot of work, a lot of her earlier work.
Yeah,
but
a lot
that
of Fearless
does,
too, I think.
That does include All Too Well 10-minute version, original All Too Well, You Belong With Me, White Horse, Teardrops on My Guitar, Tim McGraw, Picture to Burn, Fearless, Mary's Song, We Were Happy, Bye Bye Bye, Tied Together with a Smile, Stay Beautiful, Cold as You.
Excellent.
So that's who Liz Rose is. But then that's cool that, is that a line from Liz Rose? Is that a coincidence? I mean, that's pretty spot on. I thought that was cool. That made me happy. Did you know that, Anna?
I did not.
Did you know that, Amy?
I did not. It's great.
Thank you, Internet. That's all I got.
I've been number one, but I never had two. And I can't have fun if I can't have you.
I do love how the first time she said that, she didn't say you.
Right.
If I can't have, and then she like cuts herself off. And this time she does say it. If I can't have you.
Yeah. She's so fun.
I also just love the cadence of this next line. The, hey, what could you possibly get for the, I'm doing it wrong, but you know what I mean.
And nothing all at once.
Nothing all at once. Which is great because we've talked about that before, like even with Taylor Swift. Like, what do you get the girl who has everything? You know, like the person that can buy themselves absolutely anything in the world. What do you get them as a gift? You know?
Am I having a false memory? But didn't someone get her like a ridiculous amount of pounds of coffee as a gift once? Like 200 pounds of coffee or something? I think y'all aren't like triggered by this memory. I'm totally making it up. Okay.
No, well, it doesn't ring a bell to me, but that's not to say that you're making it up.
And I was like, maybe that's what you get her. Maybe that's what you get the girl.
It's triggering a memory for me, but it's because last year for Christmas, my parents gave me a big thing of coffee. And I'm so adult, I was ecstatic because my mom knows I run out of coffee all the time. And I can never get them to line up when I run out of coffee and creamer. I have one or the other.
Yeah.
And so my mom got me a big box of coffee last year, and I was really excited.
That's a good gift.
She also got me cheese.
You love cheese.
Smoked cheese. I'm a very big cheese enthusiast. I was so excited. This year for Christmas, I got great presents from them. But then at the end, looked at them after receiving great gifts as an adult, and I said, but wait, there's no cheese? They did not give me.
They set the standard.
Mm-hmm, they did not give me cheese for Christmas. But do not worry. I got cheese for Valentine's Day.
That's good.
There you go. There you go. I also, I mean, this was once again after the album came out, but I'm pretty sure that on the New Heights podcast, Travis had mentioned how he got Taylor a bread knife for Christmas and that she loved it. And he had also said that there was other things that he wasn't going to share about what gifts they exchanged with each other, but that she loved the bread knife. And I think that's something so simple because I feel like Taylor Swift is very much like it's the thought that counts type of person. So it's like she loves her sourdough bread. She loves baking. So it's like him getting her something that he's like, I see your interests and I support your interests.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that goes far beyond like, you know, a lavish like designer bag or like whatever. Not that she wouldn't love that also, but you know, I loved knowing that he got her a bread knife.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sweet and considerate gift that you listen to me and you know me.
Exactly.
Compared to, I've witnessed this myself that sometimes men don't know what to get you, so they just go to the jewelry store and buy you something.
Yeah.
And although that is really, really sweet, it's silver, I wear gold, and it's not really, so I mean, you can tell. And I mean, not to hate on anybody who's ever done that, but you're going up and you're asking a stranger to help you pick out something for someone you know. And they're pushing something on you and you don't know. But so that is a really thoughtful gift instead of I'm just going to go drop money on jewelry.
Exactly.
That's an easy one. But now I'm thinking of you and listening to your interests. So I could see her loving the bread knife.
Yeah. Also, with this lyric, what could you possibly get for the girl who has everything and nothing all at once? Elizabeth Taylor starred in a film titled The Girl Who Had Everything in 1953.
Okay.
So there's that tie-in as well. I'm kind of curious, like when it comes to something like this, where Taylor Swift's like, okay, like I have this idea, I want to do a song about Elizabeth Taylor. Do you think that she kind of like takes out a notepad and writes down things like, okay, movie titles, references, things like that, and then it's like, how can I work them in? Kind of like a puzzle almost, a songwriting puzzle, if you will.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I could see that. Next line. Babe, I would trade the Cartier for someone to trust. Just kidding.
I love that. I love that. Just kidding.
I think it's great because she doesn't have to. She doesn't have to trade it in. She can have both.
Yeah.
She can have the person that will share her interests and have all the materialistic things.
Yeah, because it is like when we were saying, you know, like, yes, like a bread knife, because you see that. Not to say that I wouldn't also like use something nice. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I have another little section here from Elizabeth Taylor's website.
Perfect.
Okay. It says, throughout her life, Elizabeth had a close relationship with the jewelry house Cartier. Right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As a loyal customer and admirer of their work. The house was responsible for some of the most memorable pieces in Elizabeth Taylor's collection, including the diamond and ruby suite that Mike Todd famously gave to her poolside in the south of France. She also worked with Cartier on resetting the iconic Taylor Burton diamond into a necklace, the significant setting for La Paraglia pearl necklace, and the ruby and gold chain of the Taj Mahal diamond. Now, in recent times, most recently, this Elizabeth Taylor diamond was seen worn by?
I can't remember. I remember it being in the news.
Margot Robbie.
Yes, Wuthering Heights.
Yes, for Wuthering Heights press, for one of the premieres, Margot Robbie wore just the Elizabeth Taylor diamond necklace. Mm-hmm. And it was such a standout piece. I think she paired it with like a strapless. I mean, Margot Robbie, beautiful, incredible, so fashionable on every red carpet, but it was the Elizabeth Taylor necklace that really, really stood out.
That's cool.
Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Man, I'm reading Wuthering Heights, guys.
You are? How's that going?
For the first time. I didn't read it in high school or anything. Like the first 10 chapters are like a word salad.
Yeah, that's a tough read.
It's so difficult, but I finally figured it out, guys.
Are you enjoying it?
I am, yeah. After chapter 10, I'm like, I'm in. I'm like 2/3 done with the book, and I'm going to finish it before I watch the movie, even though I know it's like a playoff of
fan fiction, essentially. Yeah. I still would love to get your review afterwards, because I read the book in high school, barely even remember it, do not claim to have read it almost, even though I just did. And I saw the movie, so I would love to get your review as someone that freshly read the book.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk.
So is it like old language? Like how Elizabeth was writing to Richard Burton?
Yes, even older.
It's like 1800s, right? It takes place in like 1801, I believe.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be difficult to read just because in my lifetime, I never talked like that.
No,
and no one expected you to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I can clearly say that for all of us, safely say that for all of us. But
I mean, I'd like to think that studying Taylor Swift's lyrics, I'm using my brain. I'm able to dig deep and understand, but it's been tough, guys. But I can't figure out two.
But that was a tough one.
It was.
The Bible has old school language. And then they have the new King James Version that comes out in regular language. Do we need to update the old books with the new version?
There is. Did you know?
No.
What is it called? It's a Bible in modern term, like language. What is it called? I'm going to have to Google it. I'm so sorry.
Well, I mean, there's apps and stuff, but I'm wondering for regular books, if you want to go back and read it.
Not the Bible.
Yeah, if you want to go back and read it, but like truly be able to understand it instead of wrapping your mind around an older language that we're not familiar with.
Either
sure.
Cliff Notes or Reddit.
Yeah. There is also, have y'all heard of the Bible BFF?
No.
It's a podcast. I've just seen it it comes up on my TikTok. It's a podcast where it's a girl retelling the stories of the Bible, but in the form of modern day gossip. So she'll be like, oh my God. And so then he did this. And then so-and-so walked in. And can you believe that the son of this person said that?
That's so funny.
Very funny.
Back to the line, babe, I would trade the Cartier for someone to trust. Just kidding. If you think about Cartier being a metaphor for fame, for spotlight, she's saying, life of a showgirl, I would trade this life for someone to trust. Just kidding. Because she's not ready to retire. She's not ready to, quote unquote, give someone a second chance. I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were looking at it that way.
Yeah, and I also think just in the context of Elizabeth Taylor, she was the jewelry and the glam and the glitz and everything, you know? Like, she's not going to give that up for anyone.
Mm-hmm. We hit the best booth at Musso and Frank's.
That was good. Good job.
What's Musso and Frank's?
That is a Hollywood hotspot. Elizabeth Taylor was a frequent patron of Hollywood hotspot Musso and Frank Grill, a restaurant known for its famous clientele and still serving classic dishes today. In the 1950s, she and other celebrities like Marilyn Monroe and Steve McQueen could be found enjoying drinks and appetizers in Musso's famous back room. So it's a real place that she would like to go to. Hit the best booth at Musso and Frank's.
They say I'm bad news. I just say thanks. And I love that line because Taylor's always been criticized and, I mean, still is. And they say I'm bad news. I just say thanks. Just roll it. Like, who are you? Yep. I don't care what you're saying about me. I'm bad news. I know I'm not bad news.
A la the albatross.
And I feel like in the first verse, you're seeing a little bit more of the insecurity side. And here it's more sassy and more confidence. Like, thanks. I know I'm bad news.
Yeah.
I know what that means. I know what comes with that phrase.
Yeah.
And I accept it. Own it.
And you look at me like you're hypnotized. And I think you know why. I saw people wondering if this is the showgirl Taylor saying this. And they're looking at her hypnotized with her because they know the true her, because they're looking past the showgirl and know Taylor Swift herself.
I like that.
And that's kind of New Romantics. So help me with the line. So obsessed with me.
And boy, I understand.
Yeah. And boy, I understand.
Well, I think that's, I think he knows.
Thank you. I think he knows.
Same vibe.
I'm sure people were yelling that right now. I think maybe our friend Ashlyn was probably like, no, that's the wrong lyric.
Ashlyn actually stopped running. Hit pause and was like, I know that's wrong.
Thank you for correcting me, Ashlyn. And if you ever leave me high and dry,
I'd
cry my eyes violet. Elizabeth Taylor, tell me for real, do you think it's forever? But number one, but I never had to. And I can't have fun if I can't have Be my NY when Hollywood hates me.
God,
You're
this song
only
is
as
so-
hot as your
It
last
really is.
hit, baby.
This song is so good. This song is so good. It's back on top. Back on top.
And back to that Be My NY when Hollywood hates me line. Looking at Taylor Swift's other work, she's referenced New York as a place of hope, sanctuary, and even the embodiment of being loved. Think Welcome to New York, Cornelia Street, False God, whereas Hollywood and LA figures more as a place of uncertainty, fickleness, and false friends, like Dorothea, Gorgeous, and Clara Bow.
Yeah.
I've been number one, but I never had two, and I can't have fun if I can't have you.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Do you think it's forever if I can't have you? Now, here's the white diamond line. All my white diamonds and lovers are forever. In the papers, on the screen, and in their minds. All my white diamonds and lovers are forever. Don't you ever end up anything but mine.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it sounds like a threat. Right? Like,
Don't you ever.
never. Because you'll only be remembered as my ex.
So true. So true.
I founded the club she's heard great things about. I
Yep.
mean, I'm immortal now, baby dolls. I couldn't if I tried. She now has these famous exes who are tied to her music, and then they live on in infamy because of their relationship to her. Think of anyone who could sell a story or I had this one time with Taylor Swift and just spill all the business and everything.
That's got to be so hard, like, on her end to just be trusting of people because of that fear of, well, what if this person turns around and just absolutely demolishes me? There is more from Elizabeth Taylor's website on this part, if you would like, for All My White Diamonds and Lovers Are Forever. It says, it wouldn't be a song about Elizabeth without mention of her legendary collection of jewels, including her well-known love of white diamonds. In fact, Elizabeth cherished these precious stones and what they represented to her so much that she used their legacy as inspiration for the name of her iconic White Diamonds fragrance, a sensual floral scent that has remained an international bestseller since its launch in the 90s. The second part of this lyric nods to Elizabeth's famous relationship with the press and the public. No stranger to scandals and presumptuous opinions, Elizabeth Taylor has been exposed to hostility from the public on a few occasions. Her private life became fodder for public conversation, which helped give birth to the modern celebrity culture and journalism, with gossip columns and paparazzi making a living from her life. In spite of living under intense scrutiny, Elizabeth lived her life to the fullest, always remaining true to herself. As a result, her legacy lives on in our imaginations, in our culture, and in the work of the biggest pop star in the world, Taylor Swift.
I saw this interesting take. Anthanol95 on Reddit said, this song can be interpreted about Taylor's career and her music. Elizabeth Taylor is her persona when she says, I've been number one, but I never had two, meaning she's not used to losing her legacy on the charts. Even the lyrics, do you think it's forever, is like her asking herself, will she be able to continue her legacy of always being number one? Then the white diamonds, I think, are the Grammys and other awards because they're mostly white chromed color. And then she just repeats, I'd cry my eyes violet. Elizabeth Taylor.
Tell me for real.
Do you think it's forever?
Goes through it again and then ends with all my white diamonds and lovers are forever. In the papers, on the screens, and in their minds.
I love the layer of her vocals in this part of the song. It's, I don't know, it's like a fever dream.
Yeah. It's really cool. The whole song is just so good. So good. Once again, I just love how she's able to take this iconic figure, iconic showgirl, and incorporate her own life into it and make such a smash hit record, baby.
Yeah.
I saw someone on Reddit point out that this song shows the leftover anxiety and lasting love that she had in Lover. That the rest of the album says he rescued her, she's ready for the kind of love he provides, but this one lingers in the question, does love really last forever? Someone else, Emma the Dilemma, I thought that was cute.
Great screen name.
On Reddit said, this song kind of feels the same as Cornelia Street of the Showgirl era, just a little bit. It's giving me, if you ever leave me, I'll cry my eyes violet. I'll never walk Cornelia Street again.
Oh, okay. I'd never really put that together, but I could definitely see it.
And someone else said, speaking of the songs in the album that reminded us of previous songs, the part in Honey where she goes, because I'm the one you want, as opposed to you're the one I want, and Paper Rings.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
It's like she's just more confident.
Absolutely.
You know, in this album. She knows that she is Taylor Swift, you know? And I think that's so cool, especially coming off of the Tortured Poets department, where she was just so disheveled in herself and who she is and things like that. And she almost just like word vomited all of this tortured poetry to then come out with The Life of a Showgirl after the Eras Tour, seeing her impact on all of these people and culture and everything and being like, I am Taylor motherfucking Swift. Yeah. You know? Like, that's really cool. And I feel like we can just hear that throughout the album.
Oddly enough, Thank You, Amy produced a docuseries last year that was acquired by Fox Nation almost a year ago to the date that Taylor came out with this song. And people noticed and thought, like, was this a little intentional?
Wait, what documentary?
Kim produced a documentary on Elizabeth Taylor. Yeah, Thank You, Amy.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, last year. And it was acquired by Fox Nation for streaming. And some people wondered if she did this intentionally so her name would show up with Elizabeth Taylor and beat the search results. I mean, they said possibly she did that for the Life of a Showgirl title to drown out someone else's title of their album that now hers comes up first. Same thing with Canceled, because now you look at Canceled and it's going to come up the song, not Taylor Swift was canceled, which was started by these same people. And
Slut.
Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, we've seen her reference Elizabeth Taylor before, but it's funny if she is trying to drown out everything else.
And lastly, AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys did a mashup of Elizabeth Taylor and to the tune of Backstreet's Back All Right.
Awesome.
And he posted it, and Taylor responded, "Hi, AJ," and "Oh my God." And he invited her out to their Vegas residency to perform it. She has not done it yet.
But she could.
We will know when she does, but she has not done it just yet. And lastly, some people seem to think that this song's going to be the next single. 13 Ty Wilson on TikTok explains exactly why he thinks so.
Elizabeth Taylor will be the third single from The Life of a Showgirl, and here's what convinced me. Just 2 days ago, we found out that Swifties and Taylor Swift had worked together to bring Opalite to #1, giving The Life of a Showgirl its second #1 hit single, something she hasn't done since 1989. With that achievement and the fact that Taylor has already made a big sales push for the song, a lot of people believe it will fall from the charts in the coming weeks. That being said, while we're expecting Opalite to possibly decline in streams over the next few weeks, Elizabeth Taylor has picked up, specifically starting in February. And interestingly, when you look at charts for both The Fate of Ophelia and for Opalite, you'll see that NRJ is the same radio station that begins streaming these songs in excess before they become big hits. And on that radio station over the past few weeks, Elizabeth Taylor has even outpaced both Opalite and The Fate of Ophelia. Interestingly, this is not the first time that we've seen these songs linked together, as back in October when Taylor was releasing The Life of a Showgirl, she gave us 4 deluxe version CDs, one related to Opalite, one related to The Fate of Ophelia, and another related to Elizabeth Taylor, the fourth being related to Actually Romantic, and we'll have to talk about that in another video. Obviously, if you've been paying attention, both The Fate of Ophelia and Opalite have been the lead singles, both having music videos and remixes to help them along. Because we're halfway there, I'm wondering if these 4 songs are all going to receive the same treatment and possibly all be singles. Before you say that's too many singles to have on one album, keep in mind the last album to perform this well, 1989, had 7 different ones. Because of all of that, I will be keeping my eye on radio data specifically for this song to see if it picks up, as I believe that will be indicative of it becoming the 3rd single.
So,
yeah,
3rd single and music video coming at some point.
I'm down.
Yeah, I would love
Remixes.
that.
I mean, the acoustic cabaret version
I'm
of this
obsessed.
song is sexy.
I'm obsessed with
As
the acoustic
hell.
version.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Yeah, I would love for this to be the next single. Why not? For sure.
And 13 Ty Wilson mentioning 1989 in that clip, all the references that this is sort of similar to what she's done before in this era, just, it takes me back to something that still haunts me. Travis Kelce in the New Heights podcast told Taylor Swift I would listen to 1989 for a third time. And that's always, are you just complimenting? Because we know that's your favorite album, one of your favorite albums until this one anyway. Or does she have more tricks up her sleeve? I don't know.
Time will tell.
1989 has been rumored for even longer than Reputation, Taylor's version. Okay, that's been one that's been coming around for a while.
About what? A third Taylor's version of 1989?
Yeah, you don't remember whenever 1989 TV was getting released, we didn't know if it was going to be the Shania Twain.
Oh, yeah.
Is there going to be different albums? Is she doing something else to this album that's going to get a resurgence? Is she done with the album? Is Travis Kelce just paying her compliments, or does he know about more that's coming? I don't know. That's a lot of clownery, but still, just hearing 1989
gets you excited.
Reminds me that I'm very suspicious about 1989 still.
Hey, that's good. And like I said, time will tell.
And just one last final thing. Katy Perry also narrated a podcast. Elizabeth, the first podcast, came out in October of 2022. So she narrated a 10-episode podcast series exploring the life of Elizabeth Taylor as a Hollywood icon, mother, wife, entrepreneur, advocate, and influencer.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So I haven't checked that out yet. But thank you so much for joining us for this episode of 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Please join us next time because we are coming back. I just realized I don't know how to sign off again.
Thanks,
I was
Nick.
signing off for a while.
I know.
And then I forgot how to do it again.
Hey, you know what we're going to be doing next week? Talking about Taylor Swift.
There
That's
you go.
right.
We will see you back here again for more Taylor Swift talk.
Thanks for listening. The 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.